With all of today's action in General Electric, we thought this was the perfect time to play The Price is Right. One of our traders will come on down to the plasma and tell us where they think General Electric should really be trading. When they're done, the other traders will vote on whether or not they think the price is right. So let's get to it, announcer. Who is the next contestant?
Tim Seymour from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Come on down.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Right. No. Welcome, Tim, to The Price is Right.
The greatest day of my life. I don't know what to say.
How much should GE be worth?
Oh, well, maybe it's not the greatest day of my life. I tell you what. So here's how I'd like to do this now. I think GE is worth $17, and here's how I get to this number. Ultimately, let me give you a quick pie chart of what I think their core businesses are. Basically, as we said, half of this is aviation. The other half of that is healthcare. Ultimately, you then have some power, you have some transport, and you have Baker Hughes. And ultimately, if I do the sum of the parts here, folks, I end up with, roughly $195 billion in the enterprise value of all these things together. And again, aviation is $90 billion right there. So that's a real business. And Baker Hughes, which they own 65% of right away, that's $25 billion. So that's $25 billion there. That's part of this 195 number. Then I subtract out $50 billion for the debt of the company. So if I'm adding up enterprise value, I have to subtract out the debt, and I'm left with $145 billion in market cap with 8.7 billion shares. And I divide the two, and then I get $17 a share. And again, those numbers come from looking at each business separately. And for example, the aviation business is roughly a 13 times multiple, where the power business is roughly an 8 times multiple. They're not all the same business. They're not all computed the same way. That, to me, is very conservative, by the way. If anything, I don't want to overdo it. I want to underdo it. I think the stock's cheap here.
Okay, traders, I hope you're paying attention to that fancy math. Tim says GE should be trading at around $17 a share.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so higher or lower, is Tim's price right? Karen, why don't you kick it off with your...
All right, assuming it's all done and the whole plan has been enacted, I'm going to reluctantly 16.
Lower.
Lower. Okay.
All right, should we review the rules of the game? 17 is the base. You go higher or you go lower. All right, let's try this again. Brian Kelly, what do you say?
Tim made a compelling case. I guess there's, to me, many assumptions in there that I'm not sure I can get a handle on. So I'll go with lower.
Lower. Two lowers.
I don't think you can do the math. All right. So
I was told there'd be no math on this test, so I'm not sure what.
The last person over there on the desk, a guy.
Yes.
Thank God for your name tag there.
Come on, guy.
What do you say? Higher or lower?
So I remember who I am. I would say lower, Monty. And listen, Tim makes a cogent argument, but we've seen stocks that are being takeover, in takeover talks that trade at a discount to the takeover price. And I think the reasons why are risk arbitrage. A lot of times, market doesn't believe it. In my opinion, the market doesn't believe it should be worth 17. Some of the parts still too opaque.
So low, yeah.
I said at the beginning,
I'll tell you what, I'll take the other side of that trade. And if anything, again, we're talking some of the parts right now on businesses as they stand. There's no question about that to me. And ultimately, I think the market will pay a higher premium in a year or two. That's why I think it's worth owning at this level.
All right. Well, Tim from the Upper West Side, thank you for playing.
It's so excited to be here. Thank you, folks at home. Hi, Mom.
That does it for us here on The Price is Right. Don't forget to get your pet spayed or neutered.
What?
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.